"Why don't you speak to your father?" My father demanded that all daughters in our house crawl on hands and knees because he said women shouldn't stand tall in the presence of men. We had to crawl even when alone in case men visited unexpectedly, and if he caught us standing, he'd force us to crawl and gravel as punishment. Dad had always treated women like servants. He made Mom eat standing up in the kitchen while he sat at the table because women don't deserve chairs. He wouldn't let us daughters learn to read, saying education made females forget their purpose. When I got my first period at 12, he made me wear a red armband so everyone would know I was unclean that week. He'd refer to us as the females and make us wait outside in the rain if his friends were visiting because we might contaminate the conversation. Mom never defended us. She'd been broken years ago. When my sister Rose and I were teenagers, our uncle visited and Dad's brother visited and commented that Rose was getting tall. She said, "Look, she's almost as tall as her father." That was a huge mistake. After his brother left, Dad pointed at the floor and said, "From now on, females crawl in this house. You've gotten too comfortable walking upright like you're equal to men." He said standing was a male privilege, and if he ever caught us upright again, we'd crawl on the gravel driveway until our knees bled. Living in that house had already been a living nightmare, but crawling all day every day destroyed any ounce of humanity we had left. My knees developed thick calluses, then split open from the constant pressure. Rose's wrist gave out from supporting her weight, but Dad said using forearms was lazy crawling and made her continue on her palms. We spent our days cleaning, cooking, and serving Dad and our brothers while crawling like animals. Simple tasks became torture. Carrying laundry meant pushing baskets with our heads. Cooking required reaching up blindly from the floor. I burned myself constantly trying to stir pots I couldn't see. Dad would laugh watching us struggle and said maybe now we'd have a bit of appreciation for how hard men worked day in and day out. The worst was when guests came over. Dad would make us serve drinks while crawling, balancing trays on our backs. His friends thought it was hilarious. One asked if we were trained dogs, and Dad said, "No, dogs are loyal. These are just females learning their place." They'd drop food on purpose to watch us clean it up without standing. We'd barely been allowed to leave the house before the crawling rule came around because it was so full of toxic influences. But afterwards, we were completely prisoners. Dad said seeing disgusting women walking on two legs in the outside world would corrupt us. Rose developed severe scoliosis from the constant hunching. Her spine curved visibly, but Dad said it was God reshaping her into proper female form. I started bleeding through the calluses on my knees, leaving blood trails on the floor that we had to clean while still crawling. Dad monitored us constantly, making surprise checks to ensure we were crawling even when alone. He trained our brothers to tattle on us if he ever saw us try to straighten up. One day I collapsed in the kitchen. My spine had become so damaged from 2 years of crawling that it simply gave out. I couldn't feel my legs. Rose screamed for help, but Dad just said, "Stop being dramatic and get back to work." When I still couldn't move after an hour, Mom finally defied Dad and called 911. The paramedics were horrified by what they found. A 16-year-old girl with compression fractures in her spine and infected wounds on her knees from being forced to crawl. When they asked what happened, Dad tried to stop Rose from talking, but she told them everything while he screamed about female lies. The hospital called the police immediately. They examined Rose and found her knees and wrists damaged too. They discovered Mom's own destroyed body from years of crawling. Dad tried to explain his household rules to the officers, but even he couldn't make forcing children to crawl sound reasonable. We were sent to foster homes that were strict, but nowhere near as degrading as our father's house. For the first time in years, I had hope and started relearning how to walk. Dad couldn't accept losing control, so he sent Mom to get us back. She showed up at our foster home on her hands and knees, crawling up the driveway while sobbing. She begged us to come home, saying Dad was taking her on walks now, making her crawl outside now as punishment for calling 911. Her knees were bleeding through her dress. Our foster parents were horrified and called the police, but Mom insisted she was crawling by choice to show proper female submission. Dad had coached her to say this. He also sent our brothers to school to spread rumors that we were lying about our injuries, that I'd hurt myself on purpose to frame him. Then Dad made his biggest move. He convinced our uncle, a doctor, to write medical reports saying my spinal damage was from a genetic condition, not crawling. He used these fake reports to demand our return, saying we'd lied about abuse. Child services started wavering, wondering if we'd made it all up. Everything unraveled when Uncle came to examine me at my foster home to strengthen his report. He brought Dad, expecting to find a dramatic teenager. Instead, he saw me in a back brace, unable to walk without assistance, my body destroyed from years of forced crawling. Then Rose, who'd still refused to get up on 2 feet because she was afraid our dad would come back, crawled in to serve him tea, and my uncle stared at her in horror. He told Dad he wouldn't write the reports and went back to child services supporting me and Rose. Dad lost all credibility in custody, and I haven't spoken